everybody, welcome to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Elisa, and today I have a super fun project. We're going to work on different aspects. We're probably not going to do the whole project today because this is a pretty big jar. As you can see, or hopefully you can see, that I'm creating a fairy house. And I'm starting with the door, and I actually found this little glass, well, not little, but I actually found this glass container at a yard sale for like 50 cents or $1, and it's shaped in a mushroom, and I'll take some pictures so you can see better. But it was a really cute, piece that would work perfect for what I'm going for here. So that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with the glass, and to give you a little bit idea about glass, it can go in your home oven at the temperature that polymer clay bakes at. It's not a problem. You can fire right onto the glass. It will not hurt the clay. It will not hurt the glass. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff because glass has such a high melting temperature that it won't affect anything. So don't worry about that. You can bake right onto your glass. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the many things that I used on this project, because this is going to be a big project. Like I said, this is not a small container. But I have all these cutters here. These are just ones that I thought might work out nicely for the project. So I just stuck them inside. I have all kinds of different things, like different leaves and some little plum blossom flowers. And here's a smaller leaf. I have some maple leaves. Just different cutters and things that I thought would really be cute on this project. So gather your cutters and your stamps and your molds and things that you want to use, because you can use them all on this project. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of ways to add things to it. So let's get started. So first we want to start by creating our fairy door, and here's what that's going to look like. It has a little heart in the middle of it. And so we did a video before where I showed that if you want to have that heart, open, you have to shave it off there. So let me just show you real quick. Obviously you would mold it like you would mold any other mold, and condition your clay first. And conditioning your clay means making it soft and pliable so that you can work with, where it's not cracking. I had someone ask me the other day what conditioning was because they were new to working with the clay. So that's exactly what it is. It's just rolling your clay out over and over until it's pliable and workable. So here you have it. You can make it as thick as you want it, or as thin. That's up to you. It's going on a piece of glass, so quite honestly it doesn't need to be as thick as this is. So that's entirely up to you. But you want to find where your heart is by shaving down to that. And I think I found it here. Yeah, there it is. And so when you get to it, you want to then make sure that the clay gets peeled back away from that opening, like so. And I used my rod to help flatten things out and kind of push it into where I want it to go. Your acrylic rod helps a lot when working with polymer clay. I find it's one of my go-to tools for like all kinds of stuff when I'm doing stamping and molding and whatnot. So there you have it. So I know now that my opening for the heart part of the door is there. So that's my only concern. So at this point I can demold it, and I do that by flexing. This mold is completely flexible, and there you have it. So how cute is that? That becomes the fairy's front door. And so since I've already placed this one, I'll show you. I just placed it. I'll place it on the back so you can see. I just started at the bottom, and I line it up best as I can along the bottom, and then I kind of roll it onto my piece. That will help to avoid getting air pockets in there, because you don't want any air pockets between the clay and the glass. So I don't need 2 doors. Well, maybe I do need 2 doors. I don't know. We'll think about it. But anyway, I'm going to set this door aside because I already have one here. So just imagine we placed this one already. Okay, so that was that. Simple. The fairy door is available in our shop at createalong.com. You can find it there. All right, so these are some vases that are also molded. And I used this one right here because I thought it would be a grand entrance to my fairy door, you know. So I really liked the way that looks. So I also used this other mold that has, where did I put it? I had it right here for filming. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that, guys. I also used this one, which was a floral mold, and I just molded out the 6 that I used on this other side so that I can show you how to place them, because I'm going to place them the same way because I like the way it looks, and I kind of want the uniformity of that. So let's unmold these real fast. Again, just flexing. And this is the copper clay that I've used here for these. And look at how cute. I love all the flowers on this mold. Are really unique and different, and, you know, and easy to mold. So this again is the copper clay. It's the Primo brand copper clay. And look at how nice these flowers are. And so I just, you know, chose which ones I wanted to start with. So I started here on the bottom with this. I'm going to kind of have to do it like a little backwards, guys. Let's see. And then I used this one. And just kind of line it up on there until it looks nice to you. Then I use this guy kind of over here. I was kind of trying to get a bouquet feel to it, you know. I think this guy went over here. I may change it up a little. We'll see. And this guy I snuck behind here somewhere a little. And this one on the very top. And so once you get your symmetry and it looks right to you, sorry guys, but I got to turn it to look at it a little. And, you know, just place it where it's going to go. When I'm doing this, I kind of just place it and don't push it onto the glass, because until I'm ready for it to adhere, I don't want to push it onto the glass. Because it's harder to get it off, and also you don't want to push it onto the other clay. You want to put it on enough so that it stays there to make sure that that's the design you want. But once you're sure that's the design you want, then you want to go ahead and give it a little stronger push on so it adheres. So I like to move things around and play with it, so that's why at first I don't like to, you know, get it pushed onto the clay so much. So once I have my you know, assembly here of what I'm going to do, then I came back with some pan pastels, and that's how I added this really pretty pinky, peachy color to the flowers. And so I like to start with my lightest color first, and that's my yellow, and I chose to put the yellow in the center. I just liked the way it made it pop. So I just put a little bit of yellow right in the center. And this is the thing with pan pastels. You can always go over them with other colors, so you're not like stuck. If the color's too bright, you can tone it down, you know, and that's what I really like about it, you know. And you have more control over these than you would say like a powdered pigment that's shimmery or whatever. It kind of goes more all over the place than these. You have more control because you can, you know, it's not as powdery, I guess was what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I did that, and then I came back with a peach color. And, you know, you can do whatever color you want, you know, it's totally up to you. Whatever looks good to you, go for it. I just happen to, you know, be playing around with these colors and thought it looked nice and went for it. And then I used this pinky color. Now this color is very bright, so you've got to use this minimally if you're just looking for a little pop of it, you know. You don't want to come in and get it everywhere, and then your whole, you know, flowers will be this bright pink. So really what you're trying to do is like highlight it, and you can blow on it if you need to. See, just by doing that little bit, that gives it a nice look. So I'll continue on with that, but you have an idea. And then there's a really nice bronze color too, which I incorporated, and just play around with it until you get something you like and the colors you like. All right, so let's move on. I'll finish all this stuff up later, you know, and show you what it looks like. But, you know, I do a process of blending things out too. And, you know, just keep adding colors and colors. So let's talk about these leaves here. Those leaves were also a mold. And these were off of this mold here, which is the forest leaves, I believe. And what I wanted to do is I wanted a little variegated color. So all I did was take some of my scrap and kind of, you know, blend it together. And this was the copper color and the Spanish olive. So this color and this color. And I just swirled them together, literally. That's all I did was swirl them together. You can make a snake and marbleize the clay, you know, any way you want. But I just wanted a touch of the color kind of striating through the leaves. So that's what I did here. And this is what I came up with. So I just rolled it out like into a snake. And you can do this as much as you want. You know, if you want a lot of the striations, then by all means use a lot more of that particular color. If you just want a little bit, then, you know, go for a little bit. So once you have it, you know, the way you want it, you would just roll it into your mold. And then I'm going to just shave off the extra parts here. And then demold it. Same way. And there you have that. And see, so now I've got like this little coloration in my leaf. So it's not just one solid color, but it's random, like a leaf would be. You know, like, and then I just came back and put it around, as you can see, all over the door. These are all the same leaf going down here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these around my door, just like framing it, which I thought looked really pretty. Okay, and then down on the bottom here, I did the same thing with these leaves here, which are a little funkier. I like these. These kind of remind me of like those elephant ear plants. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but growing up in South Florida, you know, it's a tropical climate. And we have these elephant ears, and these I don't know why, but these remind me of them. I love those elephant ears. They grow literally the size of an elephant's ear. And I actually seen them up here in northern Florida, but they die back in the winter, whereas, you know, in South Florida, you don't have to worry about that. But they're cool plants, and these remind me of them for some reason. So just mold it like you do any other mold, and then demold it. And here you have this beautiful leaf that's, you know, you don't have to do anything to it. Just mix the scrap clay and you've got this beautiful striation of color. And those are placed, one on this side and one on this side over here. And then I added a cherry blossom, which was a cutter, which was one of those cutters I showed you, which is right here. And so I just took some scrap clay once again. This is actually the scrap clay I used to do it. And you can use any scrap clay, any colors that appeal to you, you know. Because okay, so let me just say something about scrap clay. So this clay here is green and brown. And if I didn't love these colors, I could change them very easily just by adding some powdered pigments. And really, that's all that I did here. You know, I added a little bit of yellow in the middle and some of the pink around it. And I just made it pop a little more. So just think about how you can impart color onto it to really change things up and get a different look. You know, the scrap may not look exactly the way you want it, but you can certainly turn it into something that does. Just a little tip. So that's that, and this is basically, so I didn't tell you this here before. I put these vases on. I molded those with this mold here, the vase mold, like I said, this one. And so I molded 2 of those, and I placed them on just like I placed the door on there. And then I also molded some of these leaves, which I forgot to tell you about here. And simply just using, you know, you could go with like multicolor clay if you want it to be multicolors, you know. But when I use this leaf in particular, I like to roll a thin snake and then, you know, just mold it out like this. And before I place the leaves, before I place the flowers, you saw I just laid three of them on here as like background greenery, although it's not green. But you know what I'm saying. It created that, you know, that height, and it just made a nice background for the flower. So that's it. I'm not going to mold it right now, but you get the gist of it. It's this long one. So I actually used these 3 leaves in this one piece here. So you have lots of options with that mold. Okay. And so I'm going to continue around with this because I can't show you it all on video. It probably is going to take me several hours to make this at least. This is not a small project, but I want to give you some ideas of where I'm going with it with this as well. So I have this silk screen it's the Poppy Garden silk screen. And I got this paint. It's called High Impact Paint, and it's from Glimmer Mists. And they sent me the sample, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's not like, I don't know how to explain it. The paint is nice and thick. Okay, it's really good for doing silk screen. It's a matte finish. It's not real shiny, but it's not like a bright garish white. It has like almost a interference to it, if you're familiar with that. So anyways, I like it. It makes it really subtle but gorgeous. Let me hold this here. This is the Poppy Garden one here. And I love the poppies and how pretty it is and the swirls and stuff. And I thought this would be perfect for my roof. So that's what I intend to use that for. So I silk screen that just onto some of the Spanish olive clay, as you can see here. And now I'll show you, I'm going to put it onto the roof of my fairy house. Now, I like to cut a straight edge, because I always like to work with a straight edge. So I'm going to start here on the end. I've already cut my straight edge, and I'm just going to lay that straight edge down with my fingers, kind of making sure it's going to go where I want. And you may have to put it onto your piece to make sure that it's not going to catch on anything, which is fine. I got plenty of room under there. Not going to be a problem at all for me. And so, okay, you can see now that the clay wants to buckle. So when you're doing this kind of thing, you have to coax your clay. You can't just lay it down there. You're going to have to work it. So it's very important that your clay be very well conditioned when you're doing this. So before you even silk screen it, make sure that your clay is very well conditioned, because otherwise you can have problems with cracking. So the way I do this is I like to smooth it around with my finger. And I do this slowly. I don't try to, mash it all down, because you have to kind of coax the clay. It's not going to go exactly where you want without coaxing it. It's going to want to lay where it wants to lay. That's all I can say. Hey, that rhymes. But that's the gist of it. You're going to have to work it a little into staying where you want it and moving where you want it. And if a little bit of it doesn't go exactly where you want, you can always cut it off. It's not a big deal. And that's all it is. See, now I've got it to lay nice and smooth there. And that's going to be really, really super nice. But on this one end here, it is a little long. So I'm going to give that a little cut so that it's even going around. And so what I'll do is I will continue. Let me give it a little haircut here. There we go. It gives it a nice, this gives it a nice little even bottom, so it's not so, there you go. And so, get your extra bits away. So now I'm going to continue this when I silk screen. I'm going to add another piece on here. It's probably going to take me 3 to go around. I'm not going to put it in the circle up at the top, because that I want to do a bunch of flowers, have them coming down and really looking really super cool. So let me just show you quickly that silk screen, because I do have it here. This is the Poppy Garden, like I said. Now I did it where I silk screened at the top because I wanted my poppies to be in here. So I want to make sure that that gets all the way across the clay, the poppies, because if I started at the bottom, the poppies would kind of be off the clay. You'll see what I'm saying once you lay it on the clay. Okay, so I just want to make sure that there's no air pockets. And we're going to use the same high impact. And by the way, shiny side has to go down facing the clay when you're silk screening. And so you can lay a little on your work surface, you can put a little on your squeegee or your old credit card, whatever way is comfortable for you. And so you're just going to pull it across. And you can see this is not like a super thick opaque paint. It's more, it's almost glazy. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. But it really makes a pretty, you know, look on it without being that bright white that, you know, some paints can really be. And so I really just like the look of it. I think it goes perfect with my fairy garden. So there you have it. And let's give it a pull back. Actually, let me move this so I don't knock it over. And there you have the beautiful design I'm going to continue around on the roof with it. So that's it for now. I'm going to let this dry, and then I will place it on the roof. And you know, maybe we can do a part 2 on this, but you know, I'm really just going to continue piecing stuff on until I have what I like, and that's really what it's all about: is doing what you like and having fun with it. I mean, there's so many tools on the market if you want help, if you don't want to, you know, have to worry about creating every little leaf yourself and sculpting it out one by one, or creating every little flower and sculpting it out one by one. You can certainly get molds and cutters and tools like that to help you along the way. So don't feel, you know, like you have to mold every little single piece, because it will be a lot of pieces and it's going to take you a lot longer than a couple hours if you do that. So it's totally up to you. It'd be gorgeous either way, molding your own pieces or making your own sculptures, whatever you want. Totally have fun with it, you know. And check your local thrift stores and Goodwills and stuff, and you'll find some really cute glass jars you can use. So I think that's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed, you know, getting started on our fairy doors, and I would love to see what you make. So like us on Facebook at Elisa Ginsberg or Polymer Clay TV, and share your photos with us. And again, we also have the Polymer Clay Adventure going on. If you want to join us, you can join us all year long. We have lots and lots of classes still to come, and some have already released, and just lots of fun. And you can find all these products that I used in our shop at createalong.com, and with lots of links to different videos and stuff too. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.